21st, and I once again have the amazing Matt Ehret, which I don't think a lot of people know about him, or his videos would probably have 100,000 views each one, because he's like a walking encyclopedia. He knows stuff that ties everything together. And so this time I did take notes on everything. So hopefully I'm doing this correctly. He's a journalist, an author, a lecturer, editor-in-chief of, what was that? I have it on there, right?
Canadian Patriot magazine.
Okay. And it's on your CanadianPatriot.org website.
Yes.
And also a co-founder of Rising Tide Foundation. Can you tell us a little bit of what that is?
Yeah, it's a nonprofit organization that my wife and I set up in 2019 to deal with the problem of miseducation. So in researching the history from the standpoint of a battle of ideas, and that's sort of the approach my wife and I have taken to our geopolitical analysis and our history work. My wife also is an author. We were both writing for Strategic Culture Foundation, which is a Russian magazine, for a number of years until that became impossible due to political. So we don't do that anymore. But one of the methods is that we begin our analysis is always from the battle of the realm of the method we both use is we ask what ideas historically back then have worked to reduce the power influence of oligarchical systems, and which sets of ideas have perhaps masqueraded as appearing true, but in fact have been traps that have sucked us ever more into this system of oligarchical master-slave structures, which takes on different forms, but it's the same thing, whether it's ancient India, ancient China, ancient Europe, or 1,000 years ago, or a few hundred years ago, or today. It's the same ultimate recipe, but with different perhaps form.
Is there a website for that?
Yeah, risingtidefoundation.net. And so one of the things we noted is that those figures who throughout history, whether it's Plato and Plato's Academy, or whether it was Cicero, as Cicero fought in ancient Rome to stop Rome from becoming an empire when it was still a republic, or whether it was St. Augustine of Hippo from North Africa when he was organizing to redeem Rome as it was collapsing, and infuse some authentic Christianity before the collapse. Or you read the writings of people like Thomas More or Erasmus in the 16th century, early 16th century. They're really focused on education and cultivating educational methods in students to develop a sense of Platonic questioning and looking for paradoxes, which is what Plato does in his dialogues. Benjamin Franklin, a lot of the key founding fathers were all Platonists. They were very saturated in a deep study of the classics and this question of how the mind becomes aware of its ignorance. And so that's something we tried to do with in what humble way that we, in our limited fashion, could do. We tried to create a platform that could celebrate and make as transparent as possible that method of thinking, which the oligarchy has been working very hard to destroy and obscure for millennia. And it was very much inspired by our experience with the Lyndon LaRouche organization. We were both volunteers with Lyndon LaRouche for a number of years. So we had a certain set of insights and experiences from that process that gave us some of the juice we needed to do what we're doing now.
This is incredible. I could be on here for a year.
I'm glad you like it. It's yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then we've got CanadianPatriot.org. So like I said before we went live, I watched a lot of I've been watching a lot of them all along, but a lot of your interviews on different people's platforms. And I think what I want you to start with is you talked about population control beginning in 1799. So what I would like to know is, so we supposedly got